Mike here, MF Custom Garage. So I pulled all this stuff out. I'm just going to go over quickly what I found. We cleaned some stuff up. I was going to talk about a couple things here real quick. Go from there. So we bought some seals from my normal auto parts supplier. They're all SKF, so are the bearings, but these are made in Mexico. Seals made in Mexico. The bearings are pretty much made in China, so I opted to, I'm going to put in this pinion bearing that I use for setup because it's an actual made in Japan bearing. I just trust it a little more. I did get a crushed sleeve, and we'll talk about a couple little things here real quick. So, first things first, like I said, it doesn't seem to matter where things are boxed from because they had some AC Delco stuff, you know, like the actual AC Delco line, not the dealer line, but the aftermarket line of stuff too, and I checked it. Most of it was made in China and the price was just marked up. So anyway, this is what we're going to go with. This is what we found. This pinion bearing race, what's left of it, was in pretty bad shape. It had gotten hot, there's no doubt about it. You can see that it got hot, but it didn't really get killed. I think if we would have put oil in this thing, it might have survived, but better safe than sorry. And I got a bad habit of loading it up on the converter and with some boost too, so that's not easy on it. So anyway, I was going to talk about this. I know there's a whole bunch of videos on YouTube on how to set up 10 and 12 volt GMs and stuff like that. So if you really want a good video on how to do that, I would suggest watching one of those videos because I'm not going to get in depth into this. But over the years, I had done a lot of gear sets in 12 volt, 10 volts, 9-inch Fords, because of course that's what the Galaxy runs, which we haven't really got into yet, but that's coming, guys. This is the pinion shim. And the one thing, little bit of advice I'm going to give you over doing gear sets for quite a few numbers of years for myself and for customers, this, if you have to move this more than a few thousandths, you can almost guarantee you have a problem. And some gear sets are easier to set up than others because, like this Motive gear set, which is a good gear set, I mean, it has the depth right on it, right? So if you know what you're doing, you can't go too far wrong, but I'm going to tell you, it's not the easiest thing either. You know, you do have to have an idea. So like I said, if you're interested in that stuff, there's tons of videos out there on YouTube. Watch them. You'll get a good idea. Plus, don't be afraid to go to like an old service manual. Anyway, this does sit on here. I made sure your video quick of pressing it off, putting it on. There was nothing to it. So anyway, without further ado, the only other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to give a shout out to Quick Performance because 2 years ago I bought this posi. This is a Yukon posi and a Motive gear that they sent as their package deal for 12 volt. And it has been excellent. Even with me running a little bit low on oil, it has been absolutely excellent. The pattern looks good. Everything looks great. So shout out to Quick Performance because I bought other stuff from them, from their eBay store and also from just them direct, and they are excellent. I can see why some big racers and stuff like that do use them because they seem to come through all the time. The other thing I'll say is their shipping is unbelievable. A lot of times I have things shipped to the border, but it's fast. I mean, it's a couple days I can go get it, or even I think shipping to Canada wasn't bad. The cost was a little high, but that's on everything coming to Canada. So the only deal you can ever get if you're in Canada and you got to ship stuff to here is the Summit deal, the $299 deal. If you buy $299 worth of stuff, you know, they'll ship it for free. You can't beat that deal. It's phenomenal, and it's FedEx shipping too. So if you're near a big city, I mean, it's relatively quick. But anyway, like I said, shout out to Quick Performance because I'm totally impressed with what they sold me that was here. So anyway, I'm out for now, and like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, all the crap, and we'll see you on the next one. We'll probably run a time lapse on this a little bit. Time lapses are a little weird. The last one, I looked at it. We're getting better, guys. Work with us, and we'll get there, and we'll keep going over more and more stuff. So next soon will be the Galaxy and the Drag and Drive, more or less set up for, you know, like I said, if everything goes well, we're going to Miles of Michigan. we're just waiting for the registration thing to come through. So, the email and everything else, just like everybody else. So, anyway, that's it for today. Have a good day. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bike out. Okay guys, I'm back after the time lapse. On the diff there and felt pen it says no oil dummy. And that's so that I'm done with this time lapse guys. I'm not going to do any more with it. So the only thing I have to do is put the dry shaft back in, brake rubs on, and then we'll button this all up, put the tires on, and so it's done. So the reason why I put no oil on there, dummy, real simple. I'm going to let it sit overnight and fill it. You don't have to do that. You could let it sit a little bit and it would be fine. But because I've got a little bit of time, I'm just going to let it sit and fill. So anyway, I wanted to put a couple things. One, a disclaimer. Nobody has to do anything I do. Ultimately, I'm an idiot, and I want everybody to think that, you know, my way is not the only way to do things. So, yeah, take that for what it's worth. Second of all, we're going to move forward with the next stuff, and hopefully it'll get a little more exciting than this. But anyway, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, all the crap. Thanks for coming along this journey with me, and this will be the end of the 12-volt deal. So we'll put this all back together, and it's going to take a few days, guys, because the weather ain't beautiful, but we'll take this thing for a test drive, and we'll go over a couple things because the motor in it's actually been freshened up, so we got some tuning to do. The map needs some touching up, and the auto tuner run, and a few things like that. So we'll go hopefully have some fun with it, and we'll go from there. Anyway, thanks, Mike out, and